Alright. Ray William Johnson. He finally got caught. The barefoot bandit story. Let's see what this is about. The barefoot bandit. Well, I guess they can't find no shoe prints. Let's see what happens.
So this teenage kid, he commits so many crimes that he's about to run from police for years, steal a plane, and escape to another country.
Whoa.
Now, his name's Colton.
Whoa. A plane? How you go from stealing out the doggone 7-Eleven to stealing planes? I'm invested.
And he's only 12, and his life sucks.
Wow.
He lives in a small trailer in the woods on a little island off the coast of Washington. And his mom is an addict, and so he mostly has to take care of himself. So he spends most his days in the woods, alone, reading about airplanes, because one day he wants to be a pilot. Now eventually he starts breaking into neighboring houses, stealing things, mostly food, but over time he starts stealing other things, a laptop and credit cards. And interestingly, he often doesn't wear shoes for some reason. Like he does most of this barefoot.
He might be ain't got no damn shoes, right? Because a 12-year-old ain't smart enough to think, and then I don't know what year this is either, but a 12-year-old ain't smart enough to be like, oh, they can track my shoe prints and see that's a small print on the shoe, and I got that same type of shoe at the bottom, you know? And then I don't know what year this is because, you know, back then, I mean, today they got a lot of technology and shit to track shit. DNA and all that bullshit, so I don't think he said what year it was. Did he? I don't think so. Alright, but yeah, food, reasonable. I mean, his mama a crackhead. How else he supposed to eat? I mean, you could, I guess, kind of see this coming, right?
And so this barefoot kid is always in and out of trouble. And one day, he doesn't show up for a mandatory court date, and bam, the police start looking for him. And Colton learns they're looking for him, and so he hides out in the woods for like 6 months. He finds vacation homes, and he breaks into those, and he sleeps there. Or he'll steal food and camping supplies, and he'll sleep out in the forest. But then, eventually, boom, police catch him. And they convict him, and he's sentenced to 3 years in juvenile detention. And of course, Colton hates being locked.
Okay, so he still a minor at this point since he got juvie. Alright? I'm trying to keep up. It's just a tad bit slow.
He can't ever be a pilot while he's in detention, so a little over a year later, he sneaks out an unlocked window, and he escapes. So now he's on the run again, and he goes back to the area where he used to live, and he starts sleeping in the woods and breaking into vacation homes again. So he's constantly on the move, and stealing things like food and supplies and cars. And this goes on for months, before finally police close in on him. One day he's driving a Mercedes he had stolen, and they spot him because
why are you driving, dude? If he wouldn't have steal like cars and just stayed out in the woods, they probably wouldn't have got him. They wouldn't know where the hell he was at. All these woods. Well, I mean, I'm in the country. It's woods everywhere. If he would have just stayed in the woods, he probably could have got away. I mean, I don't want to say he wasn't hurting nobody because he was stealing, but he wasn't hurting nobody. He was just stealing food. If he would have not stolen the car, they probably wouldn't have caught him.
Driving like an asshole, and they go to pull him over in a parking lot, and he jumps out of the car while it's still moving, and he takes off and runs into the woods. And so police search the car, and they find a backpack he had stolen, and a digital camera he had stolen.
So
and on that camera, they find this selfie he took. Then Colton steals a boat, and he drives it from his island to a different island. And on the new island, he breaks into all kinds of homes and businesses again, and he steals a bunch more shit. So this guy's been in and out of trouble for years at this point. He's like 16 or 17 years old at this time.
Oh,
and if you're like,
gosh.
Ray, how could a teenager cause this much chaos? Like, wouldn't he want friends or like a girlfriend? What
I can answer that. No. He's a fucking loner. Okay? Look at me in the house by myself, talking to my damn self. Hey, I can understand it. I don't too much. I don't like being around people either. So
Exactly is Colton
Never
getting out of
did.
all of this? Well, let me just say that this kid never had a chance at a normal life. Starting
Yeah,
from
his
when he was a
mama was a
little
crackhead.
kid, his
Of course he
upbringing messed him up. And I'm not trying to invoke sympathy for him. I'm just saying that the home life he grew up in, the environment he grew up in, was an absolute disaster. When he was a toddler, his dad was a drug addict. So he was
And
raised
his
mostly
mama.
by his mom, who was apparently a raging alcoholic and was extremely neglectful to him. His neighbors later said they called Child Protective Services more than once because they believed that he was being abused or neglected. Child Protective Services actually showed up to his place 12 different times.
And they
one of those
didn't
times
take
they
it? That's the thing I don't get with CPS. Like, people calling and calling and calling back to back, right? Like, wouldn't you suspect something? Like, do something? Because it's easy to, I guess, cover up shit. Like, what that damn lady on YouTube, what the hell that channel name was? Kate and 8 and something about she had a bunch of kids and shit. Come to find out she was like starving them and all that and had them tied up and shit like that. Like, CPS could do better. Okay.
actually even removed him from the home for a period of time. So yeah, all of this
But you
set
gave
his
him
life
back.
up for an eventual disaster. That's why he was living in the woods and running around barefoot for so long as a kid. I mean,
Yeah.
what else was he supposed to do? Anyway, so
Good
Colton
question.
is still out there and he's still on the run from police. And by now, his story is starting to catch on in the media. I mean, this teenage burglar who police can't seem to catch. And he's starting to get a little reputation. But Colton, he isn't too worried about that. He's way too preoccupied with his lifelong dream of becoming a pilot. And during this
tell me.
time, he decides he's gonna make that happen. So he goes and he breaks into a small airplane hangar and he steals a single propeller plane and he manages to get it running and he actually gets it in the air. Now, he has no formal flight training, only reading piloting manuals and watching instructional videos on his computer that he had stolen. But he
Bro, that's like me going to take a damn airplane after playing. Matter of fact, that's like me trying to do a damn casino heist and mastering it in GTA and then trying to pull the bitch off in real life. How did this end?
somehow managed to get this plane flying, and he keeps it in the air for 3.5 hours before he
I
finally
guess.
crashes it on a Native American reservation in mainland Washington. About a year later, he steals another plane, but this one he only flies it about 10 miles before he lands it correctly this time. No crashes.
Oh, shit,
2 weeks
okay.
later, he breaks into another hangar and steals
Oh, my
a third
goodness.
plane in Idaho. And he flies it 250 miles back to Washington, and this one he crash lands in a field. Meanwhile, the legend of Colton and his crimes are growing. I mean, he's 17 now, and he's been on the run from police for like
This man stole 3 airplanes, flew them, only crashed 2, landed 1 perfectly at 17. Dude,
years. And he's stealing boats and planes, and they just can't seem to catch him. So he's starting to get fans online. And because he often doesn't
Of
wear shoes,
course.
they call him the Barefoot Bandit. Someone even starts a Facebook fan page for him. And that
Of
fan page gets over
course.
100,000 followers. While one company starts making t-shirts with Colton's face on them. People are even writing songs about him and putting them on YouTube.
Railway, I'm no shoe. Got a barefoot bandit.
I mean, dude is blowing up. And of course, all this sudden attention, it starts to put a lot of heat on him. And by now, the FBI is
The
involved in this
internet for
manhunt,
you.
looking for him. But Colton, he's like, whatever. He's still out there robbing houses and stealing cars. And so another year passes. And he decides, okay, there's too much heat on me. It's time to steal another plane and get the hell out of the country. But first, he has to find the right plane. So he jacks a boat and he drives it to mainland Oregon. And from there, he goes to a small airport airport, and he doesn't find the plane he wants, so then he just steals a car. And from there, he goes to two more
that's where you
airports,
fucked
and
up
he
at,
still
in
doesn't
them
find the right
cars.
plane. Then he tries an airport in South Dakota, and nope, still doesn't find the right plane. Then he just keeps
Nigga,
on
what plane you looking for? Looking for a specific model? Just get the damn plane and get up out of there. What do you mean?
stealing car after car, hopping from state to state, breaking into airport after airport, looking for the right one that has the plane he wants. And after driving over 2,000 miles through 9 different states and almost a dozen stolen cars, Colton hits up a small airport in Indiana and he finally finds the plane he's looking for, the Cessna 400. And bam, he straight up jacks it, and he takes off and he's in the air and he flies 11 hours, over 1,200 miles, from Indiana to Great Abaco Island in the Bahamas. And once he's there, he kind of crash lands in shallow waters near the shore. That crash landing triggers the plane's emergency locator beacon, which is how the FBI ultimately learns that Colton is now in the Bahamas. But Colton has no
can't
idea
win.
because within hours, he's breaking into local houses and businesses again and stealing cash and food and all kinds of stuff. Then he steals another boat and he flees to the nearby island of Eurydice, where he hopes
This
to blend
kid
in with the
ruthless.
constant crowd of tourists there. But unfortunately for Colton, he can't blend into the crowd. He's just too famous now. And within a few days, locals start to recognize him as the Barefoot Bandit, and they tip off local police. So pretty quickly, Colton
Snitch.
finds himself in yet another stolen boat, speeding away as Bahamian police chase him in like a Miami Vice type boat chase. And as he's hauling ass and getting away, kaboom! He high centers his boat on a sandbar. He is
How
stuck. And as he's trying to
unlucky is
unstick his
that?
ride, of course, police roll right up on him. And they open fire on his boat, taking out his engine. And there is where Colton, the Barefoot Bandit, finally surrenders. So then, bam, they arrest him. Here's his mugshot. And Colton gets charged with all kinds of stuff, and ultimately he gets sentenced to 6.5 years in prison. Oh, but here's the
That's
best part.
it?
Apparently Colton's story is so interesting, he's able to sell the movie rights to his life to 20th Century Fox for a whopping $1.3 million. But unfortunately, as part of the punishment for all his crimes, the court ordered that he's not
gotta pay that
allowed to
back.
profit from his story.
Restitution.
So he doesn't get to keep any of that money. All of it has to go to pay back his victims, the people he stole from. And apparently he's out of prison now, he served his time, and he just works a regular job. So, good for him.
Damn. I tell you what. That nigga got a story for the grandkids, bitch. Baby, before I was 21, nigga stole 4-5 airplanes, couple boats, couple cars, been to this country, that country. That was an interesting story. I ain't gonna hold you. That was dope. And he probably I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you snitch. I was like, let me stop. Hey kid.